try to... Welcome to World Business and Technology Show, folks. I'm Farooq Shah Khan.
And I'm Aslina Saleh Azhar. Here's the news from the center of the technology world, Silicon Valley.
The world of computers is changing very fast. Computers are getting faster and smaller at an exponential rate. These days, our laptops can hold as much as or more power to do things as some giant computers of yesteryears. Your cell phones, your iPods, your PDAs are all possible now because of the decrease in size and increase of performance.
Soon you will have your cell phones as part of your jewelry or watch. In fact, you can already purchase such items in special electronics stores. How about wearing such computers and devices not as hard items, but as part of your soft clothing? Flexible or stretchable silicon chips are on their way. Companies such as Fujitsu, Lucent, and E-Ink are developing electronic paper-thin, paper-like displays. Credit card companies are beginning to use bendable chips.
John Rogers, a material scientist at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, found a way to stretch silicon. If bendable is good, stretchable is even better, says Rogers of high-performance, conformable circuits of the sort needed for so-called smart clothes or body armor. You don't comfortably wear a sheet of plastic, he says. The potential applications of circuitry made from Rogers' stretchable silicon are vast. It could be used in surgeons' gloves to create sensors that could read chemical levels in the blood and alert a surgeon to a problem without impairing the sense of touch. It could allow a prosthetic limb to use pressure or temperature cues to change its shape.
What makes Rogers' work particularly impressive is that he works with single crystal silicon, the same type of silicon found in microprocessors. In order for it to bend, it must be prepared as an ultra-thin layer only a few hundred nanometers thick on a bendable surface. Rogers exploits the flexibility of thin silicon, but instead of attaching it to plastic, he affixes it in narrow strips to a stretched-out rubber-like polymer. When the stretched polymer snaps back, the silicon strips buckle but do not break, forming waves that are ready to stretch out again. Rogers' team has fabricated diodes and transistors, the basic building blocks of electronic devices, on the thin ribbons of silicon before bonding them to the polymer. Roger believes the wavy devices work just as well as conventional rigid versions. In theory, that means complete circuits of the sort found in computers and other electronics would also work properly when rippled.
In theory, that means going from simple diodes to integrated circuits needed to make sensors and other useful microchips could take at least 5 years, says Rogers. In the meantime, his group is working to make silicon even more flexible. When the silicon is affixed to the rubbery surface in rows, it can stretch only in one direction. By changing the strip's geometry, Rogers hopes to make devices pliable enough to be folded up like a t-shirt. This kind of resilience could make silicon future in the electronics stretch out a whole lot further. Next, in the realm of nanotechnology, scientists are turning to nature to get the nanoassembly 101.
One of the ongoing goals of nanotechnology is to easily and inexpensively create high-performance materials structured at the nanoscale. Scientists have always relied upon nature to find solutions to complex problems. Nanotechnology scientists are replicating nature's remarkable ability to self-assemble complex shapes with nanoscale precision. This glass structure, formed by a species of marine sponge, helped inspire scientists to study such organisms to learn how to easily assemble complex nanoscale structures. Today's solar cells and batteries are held back, in part, by their limited ability to transport electrical charge carriers, such as electrons and positive ions, in and out of active materials. One advance that could help is increasing the surface area of a material, while at the same time maintaining a thin film structure that can easily be incorporated as an electrode layer in a device.
Now, researchers at the University of California, Santa Barbara, after studying marine sponges, have developed a method of synthesizing semiconductor materials with useful structures and novel electronic properties. The first application could be ways to make material for more powerful batteries and highly efficient solar cells at a lower price. We are accessing structures that in some cases had never been achieved before, and in some cases we are discovering electronic properties that had never been known before for that class of materials, says Daniel Morse, professor of molecular genetics and biochemistry at UCSB, who is leading the project. The method works with a wide variety of materials. So far, he says, the group has made 30 different kinds of oxides, hydroxides, and phosphates.
The researchers studied a type of sponge that makes tiny needles of glass. They found that the genes responsible for the glass structures encoded for enzymes serve as both a physical template for the structure and a catalyst for assembling molecular precursors into the desired material. Ultimately, the payoff from Morse's work studying biological mechanisms may be more than novel thin wires and films, says Aravinda Kini, U.S. Department of Energy Materials Science and Engineering Program Manager. Although the current process works only for thin films, further understanding of the catalysis and templating methods of sponges could one day make it possible to fabricate complex machine parts by piecing together molecules. It's still a dream, but imagine the blade of an aircraft engine being assembled from the bottom up without any defects, without any expensive fabrication methods, he says. That's what is possible, and that's what people are dreaming about.
So there you have it, folks. Nanobots are creating all sorts of manufacturing and energy requirements and fulfilling our energy requirements for our needs. Now, coming up next, Dan Garza is going to talk about market visibility for your high-tech product. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back.